It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to the Scootaround Friday Travel and Cruise Industry News for this, the 27th day of January 2023, coming to you live from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm in my hotel room. I didn't go exploring too much this morning because it's cold. Goodness gracious, it was cold when I went out early. I was going to maybe go down and do the show in the lobby, but I just moving all the stuff down and everything. I said, no, let's just do it in the room and then I'll go exploring today. I kind of crashed out yesterday when I got back here. So I didn't do much last night like I wanted to. So I'm actually going to go exploring to really get acclimated. I did a little this morning. I'm just a block off of Canal Street. So then Canal Street, you know, on down to the heart of everything. It's not that far. So we're going to take the little scooter around and roll down there later on today. And so I can get acclimated to where everything is. So headlines for today's show, which we'll get to eventually. Royal Caribbean advises guests about the new Mexican smoking ban. Weather causes Norwegian headaches. Celebrity appoints two brothers as co-captains. And the American Jazz to sail California. That and much more live here this morning at 11 o'clock. Today, folks, is National Chocolate Cake Day. So you know what to do. For lunch or dinner, go have a big slice of chocolate cake somewhere. I'm sure there's plenty of chocolate cake in New Orleans. So if you're listening by the podcast, welcome aboard. Because I did not do a show yesterday, I did a live stream last night on my adventures yesterday and posted it as a podcast for yesterday. So if you missed that, you might want to look into it. So it posted just like a regular show, only it was a little later than normal posting. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the big hitters: iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Pandora, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, any of them. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and the old fat travel guy pops up. Anytime that you're listening by the podcast and want to hop over to check out the video feed to see pictures or clips that we might be using from that day's show, there's always a link in the description to access the video feed. You can hop over and then hop right back to your podcast if you like. All right, before we get to the news today, you know, Norwegian Cruise Line celebrated a new milestone yesterday, having successfully concluded its inaugural season, sailing from Cape Town, South Africa. Guess who's on the last sailing from Cape Town? That would be Hot Air Tom. Norwegian Dawn will home port there from January to March of 2024. Now, before Hot Air got on the Jade yesterday, he shared this video clip from this hotel there in Cape Town.
On the 15th floor of the Holiday Inn Express in Cape Town. That's Table Mountain. This is the view from one of our windows. What's the name of the other mountain? Lion's Gate? Lion's Head? Lion's Head. We weren't able to go up in the cable car yesterday, that they had it closed due to high wind.
All right, now of course it's Hot Air Tom He and Cindy are now on the Norwegian Jade. I have not gotten anything from him since they boarded, so I'm sure we'll hear something from him tomorrow. And remember my buddy Michael and Donna Philippus, he's been on the show several times. Well, they're down in Buenos Aires. So they went to a really cool place. Of course, that's Michael and Donna. They're the big Viking cruise folks. All right, this place, folks, is called Cafe Tortoni. It was started back in, I believe it's 1858, and has been operating ever since. These were, they're, I guess, kind of like, the figures of folks that were there back in the day. And that would have been the owner with Michael and Donna. Cafe Tortoni in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And then they also stopped in Puerto Madero. That was another stop they had down there. And of course, I'm not sure the itinerary of the cruise, but they're doing a Viking cruise out of Buenos Aires. So I told Michael and Donna that they're going to have to come back on the show when they get out. Because they take some really phenomenal trips. Really good. All right. Let's get on with the news here very shortly. But first, we'll take a real quick break.
Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scootaround. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scootaround for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise.
And not only a cruise, it can be like, you're staying in a hotel, which I have my Scootaround scooter. They delivered here before I got here yesterday. So just call the folks at Scootaround. Whatever your travel needs are, if you have any mobility issues, they can take care of them. So, back with the news after a quick word from one of our network sponsors. All right, the lead story today, folks. Has to do with our friends down in Mexico. Royal Caribbean is informing all guests sailing on applicable cruises of the recently enacted smoking ban in all public spaces in Mexico and how it can impact travelers. All forms of public smoking and consumption of nicotine products, including e-cigarettes and tobacco, have been banned in all public areas in Mexico. This includes on beaches and parks, town squares, pier areas, hotels, and other public spaces, including areas popular with cruise tourists. It should be noted that private beaches, such as those associated with independently run resorts, can still permit smoking on a beach or within their own spaces, but individual policies may vary. Designated smoking areas may also be available, depending on the destination or the local ordinances. Royal Caribbean International is ensuring that all guests on their vessels are aware of the ban and its possible consequences by providing letters on board prior to reaching ports of call in Mexico. Failure to comply may result in steep fines and or being detained for up to 36 hours. The ban is countrywide, including popular ports of call in both Caribbean and Pacific coasts of Mexico, including Ensenada, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, Costa Maya, Progreso, and the most popular cruise port in Mexico, of course, Cozumel. Should guests violate local laws in any port, they are subject to the same penalties as any residents or other visitor would be. This means that a cruise ship will not wait for guests who may be detained for violating the smoking ban, nor will any travel insurance cover fines imposed due to breaking the law. Now, I'm going to be really blunt about this one, folks. Just like I was at times back when we had the mask rules, the vaccination rules. If you are an American that thinks you know everything in the world and you're going to smoke because it's your right to do so, don't go on a cruise to Mexico. Or if you're on the cruise ship, stay on the cruise ship. Don't get off. Because if you go onto board and you go with your arrogant American attitude that you're better than everybody in the world, like many of you guys have done over masking and vaccinations and still continue to do. If you pull that crap in Mexico now, you're going to get left. The cruise ship's not going to wait for you. They're going to be gone. You've got to find your way home after you get out of jail and pay $500 to $600 fine. And your insurance is not going to back you up. So please, folks, if you smoke and you can't stand going 2 or 3 hours without a cigarette, don't get off the boat. Or even better than that, don't go on a cruise. And I hate to be that way, but I've seen too many instances this past year of Americans with their superiority attitude. And this is just going to cause problems. So, Royal Caribbean, at least, is warning everybody in advance. I don't know if the other cruise lines are doing it or not. The ban just went into effect Sunday, I think it was. So this is brand new, but I haven't heard it beep out anybody else. I mean, I'm going to Mexico on Norwegian. So far, they haven't said a word about it. Be interesting to see if they say anything before we sail Sunday. All right. Norwegian had some headaches from weather. Guests aboarding Norwegian Gem in New York. Let's see, I guess it first started Wednesday. Were informed that the departure was going to be delayed due to winter weather. The itinerary's first port of call was canceled. They stayed in port overnight. So they finally got out of port sometime late in the day yesterday. So the port of call today, which was supposed to be in Bermuda, was canceled. So their first actual port of call now is going to be St. Thomas on Sunday. And to try to make up for some of it, they're giving you 3 more hours in St. Thomas. So again, weather has just caused headaches up there. I've wondered about the sensibility, the intelligence of running cruises out of New York in the winter. Same thing with Baltimore and Virginia even. I don't know. Anyway, to compensate for the change, the second port of call has been extended with more shore time. Tours for the canceled port were automatically refunded. Of course, that's if you booked them on a cruise. If you booked them on your own, you're out of luck. All right, so the GM did not depart Manhattan Cruise Terminal as was planned. So, by the way, it's a 12-night sailing. Of course, I guess if people got on the ship and for the night in New York, that would be one of the 12 nights. But it's goes to the Caribbean and to Panama City, Panama. So another weather headache for Norwegian. All right, Celebrity made some interesting news. They have just named two brothers as co-captains of the new Celebrity Ascent, the line's newest Edge-class ship that will debut in late 2023. The Greek brothers are veteran Celebrity officers with more than 50 years of service with the cruise line between them. Like ships that pass in the night, co-captains Dimitrios Kafitsis, come on, tongue, Kafitsis and Tassos Kafitsis will serve 3-month rotating assignments on Celebrity Ascent. Their appointments mark the second time Celebrity Cruises has charted new territory on the bridge. Of course, in 2015, they chose Captain Kate McHugh as captain of the Celebrity Edge, making her the industry's first female cruise ship captain. Of course, she is now on Celebrity Beyond, her second assignment. Celebrity Ascent will debut December 3rd and sail a season in the Caribbean out of Fort Lauderdale before heading to Europe for the 2024 season. And once again, folks, it comes on my radar to talk about American Cruise Line. The American Jazz, which of course is owned by American Cruise Line, will be the first river cruise in California in 80 years, according to American Cruise Line. That 80 years will come to an end in February. The line is operating its first California river cruise from San Francisco, exploring San Francisco Bay, San Pablo Bay, that's Vallejo, Napa Valley, Sacramento River, and San Joaquin River over an 8-day itinerary. Excursion highlights feature visit to Stockton's Hagen Museum, honey tasting in Sacramento, and wine tastings throughout Napa. To sell the itinerary, the company is repositioning its American Jazz ship from the Mississippi, sailing it through the Panama Canal and up Central and North America West Coast. The new ship, inaugurated in 2021, can accommodate up to 99 passengers in all balcony staterooms. Robertson said that American Cruise Line had doubled their fleet in the past few years, with a total of 17 small ships and riverboats exploring the country in 2023. They've been able to create more new itineraries and operate in new regions than ever before. American Cruise Line now operates in 35 American states. Now, this isn't all good news, but it is, and it's somewhat confusing news, and I still have not been able to get a hold of these people to find out about it. This technically is an accessible cruise. The ship, the American Jazz, has elevators to all decks. It also has one handicap accessible cabin. One. That's all. Why they only have one, I do not know. But there is one. So like all these new ships that are coming out from American, it looks like they all are going to have one handicap cabin. Well, what if we really start getting my accessible community involved in river cruising? We may need more than one cabin on these ships. So anyway, I would like to get somebody from American. I'd love to have them on the show. I'd love to have them take me on a cruise and let me show other disabled folks how one can cruise on a river cruise. I don't know till I do it, but I'm sure willing to give it a try. All right, let's go see who's in the chat room today before I go exploring and try to get my feet under me a little better than yesterday here in Nolans. Kenneth's with us. Good morning, everybody. Chillie, I'm hoping we're enjoying that warm weather down there. It's cold up in this part of the woods. And I tell you what, I think it was 37, 38. I went out just as dawn was breaking this morning, first light here in New Orleans. It was cold. I mean, it was really cold. And the wind was blowing too, so it was kind of nasty. It wasn't raining or anything, but I had on a hoodie sweatshirt and a blonde jacket, and I was still a little on the cool side. So, but I did go do a little exploring, and at least now I know where Canal Street is, and I know that that's going to take me to any of the things where I want to go. At least it gets me started in that direction. I don't know how far it is to the cruise port. I know from when Canal Street gets down to the river, it's some distance, on down the river to the cruise port. But we'll see. Dennis is here. Hi, Dennis. Oh, Joanne, she's on the Anthem of the Seas. I forgot about that. That's right. I'll have to check and see if you've posted any pictures, Joanne. I'll steal some pictures and get it up. No beignets, not yet, Dennis. This morning, I went quick to get back. Last night, I kind of crashed. I was really tired. I got some work done. I was up later than normal. I didn't sleep well. That happens sometimes when you're old and fat like I am. But then to get out this morning and go for beignets and then get back and try to get ready for a show today. So I'm going to go for beignets tomorrow. We'll find out where everything is today. So I also, it looks like the gal that was going to go out with me to get fried chicken is now delayed on getting to town. So either I got to foot the bill all the way out there for Uber, and I asked my driver, I hadn't heard back from him yet, how much that would cost me to get out there. I got a feeling it's going to be, $50-$60. So then that makes it some pretty expensive chicken, just for me. But we'll see. Cindy's with us. Hi, Cindy. I was talking to somebody about you. Who was it? Somebody posted something about you. I said, oh, yeah, that's Cindy. I don't remember who it was. Oh, well. So pleased to hear about the smoking ban. It needs to be global. I have no problem at all with the ban. But I know what it's like on cruise ships with, the people that smoke now in half the casinos, and they have, half of like the Lido deck that they can smoke on. And for a non-smoker now, I smoked for 56 years. It's awful. It's caused a lot of my health problems, or it's exacerbated my health problems. clearly has been an effect on my breathing issues. But I have no problem at all with the ban. I think Mexico did a smart thing. It wouldn't bother me if it was done in the States, because I've gotten so I hate to be around people that smoke. Said I'd never be that way. Yeah, I'm that way. But I can just see the arrogance of some Americans that say, they can't do anything to me. I'm going to go in there and smoke like I always have. Well, not anymore, my friends. Is it Tom's Cruise Day? He sailed yesterday down in Cape Town. Mike's with us. Good morning, Mike. How you feeling, Mike, by the way? Haven't asked for a couple days. Nikki's here. Nikki, how are you feeling? I haven't asked for a couple days on you either. Of course, Dennis saying hello to everybody. Argentina is very cheap to visit. Well, you know, Dennis, I have looked a number of times. I came as close to booking a cruise this year, but I had a problem with the scooters. They're not into South America yet. So, and it's probably also would be virtually impossible for me to go any place on a scooter if I had one. If I could get a round tripper from, like Fort Lauderdale or something that goes to South America, that I could have a scooter and, go with what I could find. But that's going to entail me doing something that's a lot more expensive than this poor guy can afford. Again, I'm not like some of my competitors that I'm going to be cruising with this week. Got a list. They sent a list out today of the content creators that are going to be on this cruise. Guess who wasn't on the list? Me. Of course not. They don't like what I do. So anyway, those guys, they're getting $20,000-$25,000 a month from YouTube. Well, you can book some nice fancy cruises. You can pay for airfare and stuff. Now, I'm still doing this all out of my pocket, y'all. Yeah. Scootaround, I'm now an ambassador for Scootaround. Yeah, they're paying for the scooters, but I don't make a penny from them money-wise. Unless somebody, books using my SRN number, and then, I get a little kickback. But, not much. But so if I look at a cruise that's, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 or more, I can't spend that kind of money. So now if I had, if I get up to 10, 15,000 subscribers and I start making, that kind of money, per month, that would be a different story. But, with a little over 3,400 now subscribers on YouTube. I'm lucky if I get $100 a month. My biggest month so far is like $214. My biggest month. So anyway, the cruises that I'd like to take to South America, I can't afford it. I had a one-way that was a good price, but it was the wrong way for Scootaround. So I can't do it that way. But we'll see. I'm not going anywhere. Maybe one of these days I'll get there where I can actually make some money. I wish there was some way that I could monetize Twitter. I've got 174,000 followers on Twitter. They're my second. The podcast is my largest audience. Twitter's the second largest, and then comes YouTube and Facebook. So yeah, come up with some way of monetizing Twitter. That would be an interesting concept. Chillie, will you take that scooter on the ship, or will they have another one? Oh, no. Yeah, this one stays. They'll pick it up here at the hotel, and then there's another one at the ship. So my Uber guy is going to pick me up because there's no way I could take the scooter with luggage and all that crap all the way to the cruise port. That wouldn't work. So my Uber guy is going to pick me up and take me to the ship. And I'll get another scooter there. So, I mean, they're all the same, but yeah, no, I don't have to transport it, Nikki. Still waiting for cruise ships to completely ban smoking on board too. Yeah, it wouldn't bother me if they did that. I mean, I know that upsets some people that smoke, but sorry. FAFO. Yeah. Tomorrow lunch at Mother's, jambalaya, etouffee, sweet potato pie. I tell you what, Dennis, I don't know if you saw the thing I did from Daisy Dukes right down the street yesterday, but I had some seafood gumbo that was out of this world. Now, I admit, by the time I finished it was a cup, wasn't even a bowl. It's a pretty good sized cup. That was a nice serving. By the time I finished the bowl of gumbo, I was sweating. It was good and spicy. Then I had the fish. I'm pretty sure it was catfish, but it was fresh. It was so good. And oysters. I mean, they're smaller here than what I'm used to, but because they're fresh, just absolutely fresh, they had wonderful flavor. I went back there this morning because the breakfast menu looked really good, and I had the biscuits and sausage gravy, and I was very disappointed. I get better sausage gravy at the Holiday Inn Express in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I was disappointed in that this morning, but boy, I sure wasn't disappointed there yesterday. Jambalaya, etouffee. I'm not real crazy about sweet potato pie, but yeah, I like etouffee and I like jambalaya, so there's no doubt about that. Improving now, Mike says. That's good. The taxi ride to Willie Mays is only a few minutes. Check Google Maps. Okay. Well, if for some reason I felt like it was going to be further than that. Katie's with us. Morning, everybody. Lunchtime for her. Yes. Are you near Jackson Square? It's hard for me to picture it just looking at a map, but it's not. I mean, yeah, I'm close to everything. I'm not far from the quarter here. I mean, I'm right on Canal Street now. Exactly how far it is from Canal Street where I am to the river, yeah, I don't know, 20 blocks maybe. So, and that's where Harrah's is and the casino and a bunch of the hotels and that kind of thing, and the Riverwalk and Cafe du Monde, the good one, is kind of right where Canal runs into the river. So that's why I'm heading down there to see how long it's going to take me, so I'll know for tomorrow. Because I definitely got to have my beignets in the morning, no doubt about that. And who knows what I'm going to do today? Not sure yet. That's good to know about the taxi ride, though. Because what I can probably do, I won't take my scooter, because anytime you try to get a accessible transportation, I could take my walker and just use the walker to get into the restaurant. Wouldn't be too bad. The hardest time would be for me to get in my room here to the elevator, That's a pretty good hike. But I could always, I could go partway and stop and for a couple minutes and then go on to the elevator. Maybe I'll figure that one out. Do not get picked up by a taxi in front of the hotel or get dropped off at the hotel. They still have the surcharge. Do not get picked up by a taxi in front of the hotel or get dropped off at a hotel. Okay, that's good to know. Most of their content is rubbish. Well, but that's, well, what can I say? There's still, it's got, get 125, 130,000 people. They get some big ass checks. And then, there's nothing for them to, like my friends, JJ Cruz that I'm going to be with this week, it's nothing for them to do a live stream and get a couple $100 and tokens and, whatever you call those things, the money that people donate. I did see that there's a new one now for, I think it's $1. So I've got to look into that one. I saw that maybe I saw that on some shorts. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I need to do something to so this is not coming out of my pocket. MSC has a transatlantic repositioning cruise. Yeah, I've looked at several MSCs. I'm probably the next thing I book, unless something jumps out and bites me, will be on the Seaside while it's here. So that's because I haven't been on Seaside yet. Cindy says there are supposed to be revisions to monetization for shorts starting February 1st. Check into that. Yeah, but you got to have hundreds of thousands of views and stuff. I still do shorts. I had one this week that was over 2,000 views. And the rest of them have been crap, 30, 50. So, Dennis says, yes, I watched the Daisy Dukes vid. Go out and explore other restaurants. Should have gone to Cafe Du Monde instead. Stick to the dining itinerary. I know. I knew you were going to fuss at me on that one, Dennis. And at least I'm honest about it. I took an easy route out this morning, still trying to recover from yesterday because that was a rough day for me. And, I guess it didn't pay. When I was out this morning, I could have gone straight on down Canal Street. I was out there at the corner of Canal Street. I took pictures of, the streetcars. I could have gone straight on down and, done beignets today. I should have. Except I'm not sure how far it is. And then would that have left me, scrambling to get the show done today? And we'll go figure it out this afternoon. I don't know if they have the tourist taxi surcharge. It was kind of an expensive proposition on the Uber in from the airport. But that's that's pretty good distance to the airport. So lesson learned. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely, Dennis. Don't take the easy way out when you have a plan. So anyway, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. I'm going to go off and explore. And who knows, folks, I could pop up with a live stream at any time. If I see something interesting and I got a signal, I'm allowed to go live from anywhere in New Orleans with anybody, and we'll see what happens. Ooh, I could maybe even do a live dinner or at lunch or one of the meal. I don't know. We'll come up with it. And then Sunday, of course, I get on the breakaway. I have a feeling that this is not going to be the greatest sail away in the world as far as being outside on the upper decks, because when the ship starts moving, it's going to be cold. And it's going to be cold probably the first day or two of this cruise till we get in this warmer weather. So, but that's okay. That happens this time of year. So, anyway, guys, as always, I appreciate you being with me. I'm still having a really good time here in New Orleans. So I'm going to go exploring. That's on the agenda today. So anyway, folks, I'm sure I'll be live between now and when I do the show on Monday next. So we'll see. And definitely stay tuned for lives from the breakaway. We'll do that as well. All right, that's it for today, guys. As always, I appreciate you being here. Stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. And hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a fantastic day, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.